Good morning, students. Today again we will continue with the midpoint theorem, exercise number 9. So we'll start with question number 7. ABCD is a kite in which AB is equals to AD and CB is equals to CD. This is the property of the kite that their adjacent sides are equal. And they have given EFG are the midpoints of AB, AD and CD, and we have to prove that angle EFG is 90 degree. And second part, if GH is parallel to EF, then prove H bisects CB. H bisects CB means its H is the midpoint of BC. So we'll start with the question. First, children, this is a property of the kite. First, ABCD is a kite. It's given. Therefore, their adjacent side AB is equals to AD and CB is equals to CD. This is the property of the kite that their adjacent sides are equal and their diagonals meet at 90. They meet or they intersect at 90 degree. So, it's angle AOD, or you can say angle AOB is equals to 90 degree because this angle is 90. Give reason for everything, okay? Because diagonals of a kite intersect at 90 degree. Okay, now we can see that in triangle ABD, E and F are the midpoints that they have given. Therefore, by midpoint theorem, EF is parallel to BD by midpoint theorem. We'll take this point is L and this point is M. Now we can see EF is parallel to BD. That means if EF is parallel to BD, this means MF is also parallel to OL because this is a small portions of the parallel lines. So this is your question number 1. Similarly, now we'll take the another triangle. In triangle ADC, F and G are the midpoints. It's again given are the midpoints. Therefore, FG is parallel to AC by midpoint theorem. Now, if FG is parallel to AC, that means this portion FL is also parallel to OM. This implies FL is parallel to MO. This is equation number 2. Now, from equation number 1st and 2nd, we can see that MF is parallel to OL and FL is parallel to MO. That means the opposite pairs are equal. That means MFLO is a parallelogram. MF is parallel to OL and FL is parallel to MO. Therefore, MFLO is a parallelogram because opposite sides are parallel. So this becomes a parallelogram. Children, if this is a parallelogram, we know that the opposite angle, this is a property of the parallelogram that their opposite angles are equal. That means angle MOL is equals to angle MFL. So you either you give the name angle 1 or 2 or you can do it like this, MOL, give the, so angle, this implies angle MOL is equals to angle MFL, both equal to 90 because angle O is 90 that we have mentioned in the beginning and opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal. This is a property of a parallelogram. Okay, both the angles are equal. So this is the first part that we have to prove angle F is 90. This implies angle F, or you can say angle EFG. Both are same. Angle F or EFG is 90. So this is the first part of the question. For the second part, we have to prove that if GH is parallel to EF. Now, in the first part, we have proved EF is parallel to BD and EF is also parallel to GH. It's given. Okay, so that means this implies that all these three lines are parallel to each other. So EF is parallel to BD, parallel to GH. So all these three lines are parallel. This implies HG is also parallel to BD. Okay, now we will see the another triangle in triangle BCD. So in triangle BCD, we can see that G is the midpoint and HG is parallel to BD. G is the midpoint of CD and HG is parallel to BD. Therefore, now when one point is the midpoint and the line joining that midpoint is parallel to the another side, that means which theorem we have to use? The converse of midpoint theorem. Therefore, H is also a midpoint of BC. Give the reason: because by converse of midpoint theorem. So when H is the midpoint, that means H bisects BC and hence proved. Next question is question number 9. In triangle ABC, AD is the median through A and E is the midpoint of AD. If BE produce meets AC at F, prove that AF is 1/3 of AC. So, children, you can see in the figure AD is the median. Median is the line which passes through the midpoint and meet the opposite vertex. So, if AD is the median, this implies D is the midpoint of BC. Second is they have given E is the midpoint of AD and they said BE produced meets AC at F and we have to prove AF is 1/3 of AC. So here in this question we will do a construction. We will draw a line DG which is parallel to BF. So now we can see in triangle BFC, D is the midpoint. It's given and DG is parallel to BF, that is by construction we have assumed. Okay, therefore again by converse of midpoint theorem we can see G is also a midpoint of FC. Give the reason: because by converse of midpoint theorem. So when G is the midpoint of FC, this implies FG is equals to GC. This is the first equation. Now we will take the another triangle ADG and in ADG we can see that E is the midpoint. EF is also parallel to DG as EF is a part of the parallel line BF. So now for triangle ADG we can see that E is the midpoint of AD. It's given and DG is parallel to BF. So see, if DG is parallel to BF, that means DG will also be parallel to EF because EF is a small portion of the line BF. So DG is, this implies DG is parallel to EF also. Therefore, F is also a midpoint of AG by converse of midpoint theorem. So children, here you can see E is the midpoint, EF is parallel to DG, that means in this triangle F will also a midpoint of AG. So if F is a midpoint of AG, this means AF is equals to FG. This is the second equation. So from equation number first and second, we can see that AF is equals to FG and FG is equals to GC. So that means all the three paths are equal. Now we can see that AC is the combination of AF plus FG plus GC. So we'll write down AC is the combination of AF plus FG plus GC. So now we have to prove AF is 1/3 of AC. So we will replace FG and GC with AF because all these three are equal. So it becomes 3 times AF. So AF is 1/3 of AC and hence proved. Now next question is question number 10. In triangle ABC, which is a right angle at B and P is the midpoint of AC, prove that PA is equals to PB. So we'll join PB is equals to PC. We have to prove that all these three sides are equal. So first, again in this question, we will do a construction. Draw a line PQ which is parallel to BC. So now in triangle ABC, P is the midpoint of AC. Give the reason why it's midpoint because it's given in the question. QP is parallel to BC. By construction, we have taken these two lines are parallel. So one point is midpoint and other PQ is parallel to BC. This implies Q is also a midpoint of AB by converse of midpoint theorem. Now, if Q is the midpoint, this implies AQ is equals to QB. Both the lines are equal. And we know that PQ is parallel to BC. This implies angle, you can take this angle 1. Angle 1 is equals to angle B because both are corresponding angles. And both angle 1 and angle B, both angle B is 90. That means angle 1 is also 90. Similarly, by linear pair, we can prove that angle 2 is also 90. So angle 1 plus angle 2 is 180 because it's a linear pair, or you can say the straight line angle. So angle 1 is 90. That means angle 2 is also 90. So we can say that angle 1 and angle 2 both are equal to 90. Now again we will see this figure. Now we will prove the congruency of triangle AQP and triangle PQB. So again I am drawing this figure. So in triangle AQP and triangle PQB, we'll prove the congruency of these two triangles. So first is PQ and PQ both are common. Angle 1 and angle 2 both is equals to 90, that we have already proved. And AQ is equals to QB. That's also we have proved because Q is the midpoint of AB, that we have already proved. Therefore, triangle AQP is congruent to triangle PQB by side, angle, side, by SAS axiom. See, AQ is a side, 90-degree angle, and PQ is again a side. So, side, angle, side. So, why we have proved the congruency? So that AP and PB will be equal by CP, CT. Also, it's given that AP is equals to PC. It's already given that P is the midpoint of AC. So, we can see that PB is equals to AP is equals to PC. So, all the three sides are equal. And that's what we have to prove. So, hence proved. Now, the next question is question number 11. Prove that the quadrilateral formed by joining the midpoints of the pairs of adjacent sides of a rectangle is a rhombus. So what is given in the question? ABCD is a rectangle and PQRS are the midpoints of the pairs of adjacent sides, and we have to prove that PQRS is a rhombus. So what is given? So what we have to prove, PQRS is a rhombus. So for that we need to prove any one of the property of the rhombus. So here we will prove all the sides of this quadrilateral are equal. If all sides are equal, hence it's a rhombus. So first we will do a construction. Join AC. So what we'll do, we will join AC. So now we will see this rectangle has been divided into two triangles. First is ABC triangle and other is ADC. So first we'll take triangle. In triangle ABC, P and Q are the midpoints. Which is given. It's given in the question. Therefore, by midpoint theorem, PQ is parallel to AC and PQ is half of AC. That is by midpoint theorem. Now we will see the upper triangle ADC. In triangle ADC, S and R are the midpoints. Therefore, SR is parallel to AC and SR is half of AC. So this is your previous equation was equation number 1. This is your equation number 2. So from first and second equation, we can see that AC is common. Therefore, PQ is parallel to SR because PQ is parallel to AC and AC is also parallel to SR. That means all these three lines are parallel, or we can say that PQ is parallel to SR as well as PQ is half of AC and SR is also half of AC. So half AC is same. When right hand side is same, obviously the left hand side will also be equal. So SR is equals to PQ. So one pair of opposite side is parallel as well as equal. Therefore, PQRS is a parallelogram. This proves that PQRS is a parallelogram because opposite sides are equal and parallel. That we have proved. If this is a parallelogram, that means the opposite sides are equal. Now we have proved opposite sides are equal, but in rhombus all the sides are equal. So what we have to prove, that their adjacent sides are also equal. Adjacent side means we have to prove either SP is equals to PQ, or you can say that SP is equals to SR. Any pair you can take, choice is yours. So I am going to prove SP is equals to PQ. These two sides are equal. So what I will do, I will consider these two triangles. Now we will consider these two triangles. In triangle APS and triangle PBQ. In both the triangles, because ABCD is a rectangle, that means angle A and angle B both are equal to 90. P is the midpoint, it's given. So AP is equals to PB because P is the midpoint. And second is AD is also equals to BC. Opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. So when opposite sides are equal, that means their halves will also be equal. So we will multiply both the sides with half. Now what is half of AD? Half of AD is AS. So AS is equals to BQ. Half of BC is BQ, as S and Q are the midpoints. So these are midpoints, that means DS is equals to AS. So but we need AS. Similarly, CQ is equals to BQ, but we need QBs. That's why AS is equals to BQ. Now we need three conditions. First, angle A is equals to angle B, AP is equals to PB, and the third is AC is equals to BQ. So triangle SAP is congruent to triangle PBQ by, see now this is side, angle, side, again by SAS axiom. So when SAP is congruent to triangle PBQ, That means SP is equals to PQ by CP/CT. This side is equals to PQ. SP is equals to PQ by CP/CT. Therefore, PS is equals to PQ. PQ is equals to opposite sides SR, and PS is also equals to RQ. Hence, all the four sides are equal because PS is equals to RQ and SR is equals to PQ. So if we equate all these equations, that means all the four sides will be equal. Hence, PQRS is a rhombus, and hence proved. So children, today you practice from question number 7 till question number 11 of exercise 9. Thank you.